Hello, I'm John. I'm going to show you today how to do a Sphenopalatine Ganglion Block. I've been doing these blocks for quite a few years in an acute care hospital here in Ontario with an over 90% success rate at resolving people's migraines or cluster headaches within 5 minutes. So the setup is right here. Ideally, I would have cathalons rather than these 20 gauge needles, but I use some 20 gauge needles. I use a 3cc syringe. These don't have to be sterile, so you don't have to worry about that. If I had a 20 gauge cathalon, I wouldn't disable the safety, but for here I have to. I'm going to use 1% lidocaine here, although in reality I would use either 2% or a mixture of 2% lidocaine and 0.5% marcaine, or 0.5% marcaine. Just going to draw up about a cc. I don't need much. Actually, I'm going to drop a couple, but I usually only use about one. Doesn't have to be very specific. These are your standard swabs that you use to do a throat swab. And I only need this part. So this is actually hollow. So if you carefully cut it, you're then able to insert your needle in there. If it's cathalons, I don't bother taping it, but here, just for safety purposes, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on. And then, you can watch it right close here. Push a little bit, you can see that some of the lidocaine is coming through. Save that one, set that aside. Same thing with the other one real quick. You want to try not to crush those when you're cutting them, because otherwise they're challenging to get the needle in. Again, as I say, the catheter on needle is much nicer to use, but this will do the job. This one I don't need to drop because I'm going to put use the same syringe. So my patient over here is Annie. You might recognize her when we get there. So Annie would have had a severe migraine or cluster headache, ideally having been diagnosed in the past. You notice we have Annie protected for COVID. I'm wearing a mask for COVID as well, because this is COVID season. So when you do this block, you will have to access the nose. And this is not actually painful. When I do this procedure, take the swab. I usually put a little bit of gentle pressure and I tell them just relax. Put the swab in, and if you notice it's going pretty well parallel to the nose, it'll find its path. It's particularly easy on Annie. If it hangs up, you just kind of wait there for a few seconds. And if the freezing on the swab will make it easier, and then you apply a little bit of gentle pressure. Again, a little pressure on the nose helps. Annie is one of the easiest ones. You can just tap them to make sure they're in. And I take my syringe with some lidocaine, put it on, little tiny squirt, about a 0.1 of a cc, maybe 0.2. Same thing on the other side. I would now wait about 2 minutes. I actually time it 2 minutes. I also warn Annie that she's going to have a foul taste in her mouth. Sometimes they get a numb throat. Other side effects is occasional bloody nose. So after 2 minutes, I would do that again. Same thing. We'll time lapse another 2 minutes goes by, and I do it for one last time. Almost always at this point, the patient is pain-free, and the vast majority of time, This has lasted for quite some time, up to 3 months of either no or less headache, and then you very gently remove the swabs, like so. We'll just COVID protect ourselves again. And that is the Sphenopalatine Ganglion Block, the way I've been doing them for the last 5 years or so, in an emergency department in Ontario with an over 90% success rate. Thank you. If you're interested in helping me make this the first line treatment for migraine headaches here in Ontario, please contact the email address below.